As St. Basil's Cathedral is no longer the important place of worship it once was, the religious community turns to other shrines. In Sergiev Posad, 70 kilometers north of Moscow, the Trinity Lavra of St. Sergius Monastery is one of the most important places of Orthodox faith. On July 18th, pilgrims from all over Russia gather to attend the liturgy of the Great Patriarch, head of the Orthodox Church. They come to commemorate Saint Sergius of Radonez, founder of the monastery and one of the most venerated saints in the country. His healing powers make him a saint superior to others. Irina makes this pilgrimage every year to unite her faith with that of an entire people.
I came to work for the glory of God. For me, it is important because 3 years ago, my husband and I, we'd worked in the Cathedral of Christ the Saviour, and by God's mercy, our long-awaited daughter was born. She is our firstborn, so she is very precious to us. And now we would like to address our most secret requests to Saint Sergius on his feast day.
Built in 1337, the Trinity Lavra of St. Sergius Monastery includes more than 50 buildings, of which the most important is the Assumption Cathedral, built, like St. Basil's, by Ivan the Terrible. Orthodox religion separated from Catholicism about 1,000 years ago. Its rites immerse its faithful in an atmosphere of intense meditation. By combining repetitive prayers, the effects of candlelight, and symbolic icons, it invites man towards introspection. After decades of Soviet oppression, the faith of the Russian people is once again expressed with fervor. Practitioners have grown from 20 to 70% of the population in just 30 years. Today, it brings together 200 million faithful, most of them in Russia.
For me and my close friends, Orthodoxy is life. Our parents didn't have our luck. They lived at a time when religion was forbidden and believers persecuted. Many were afraid to practice. Others hid their beliefs.
After the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, all religious symbols were damaged by revolutionaries who wanted to detach the people from their beliefs. Father Makary Veretennikov, a member of the seminary of St. Sergius, looks back on this tormented period in history.
The church had become excessive, embarrassing, and a disturbance. And from the aftermath of the revolution, the church began to be persecuted. Believers began to be killed, especially those who preached, and churches and monasteries were closed. Gradually, the idea was formed that people of faith were a people who had no modern education, that they remained anchored in the past. And this is, in short, the result of massive atheist propaganda.
In the name of atheism, the bells of the Trinity Saint-Basile-the-Blessed were broken, icons looted, and the seminary had to close its doors. All religious buildings were affected, the most modest as well as the most emblematic. It is even said that Stalin thought of leveling St. Basil's Cathedral. Tatiana Saracheva, director of the Cathedral Museum, conserves all the testimonies of this period.
While
thousands of workers marched on the cobblestones of Red Square, the idea of destroying the cathedral emerged. But some said that St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow was a unique architectural monument that should be preserved as a legacy. The museum employees found themselves in a delicate situation. On one hand, religion, and on the other, the will to safeguard this historic monument.
If the cathedral was not destroyed, the management of the newly created museum had to deal with the revolution. Supported by historians, the Guardians concealed the works, especially the icons, so that they would not be destroyed by the Bolsheviks.
They installed anti-religious exhibitions in the cathedral walls. These were intended to discourage religion by affirming that religion is the opium of the people. For a long time, iconostasis displayed the quotations of Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels, Lenin, Stalin. Thanks to this small sacrifice, we were able to keep the largest collection of icons and iconostasis in St. Basil's Cathedral.
The most precious representations of Saint Basil have also escaped the Bolsheviks. They say he was the only individual feared by Ivan the Terrible. Basil was an ascetic, a very pious individual who lived in extreme poverty and publicly denounced the Tsarist regime. Little by little, his character settled in the hearts of the Muscovites.
Basil the Blessed decided very early to consecrate himself to God. And to do so, he chose a path that may seem unusual to us, the Eurodivi path. The Eurodivi, or Fool for Christ, was a particular religious movement very widespread in medieval Russia. It was a renunciation of all earthly goods and an exclusive consecration to God. In any case, Basil the Blessed attracted the attention not only of the people, but also of the lords, which allowed him to present their grievances and concerns. In short, these fools for Christ were intermediaries between the power and the people.
Basil died while the cathedral was being built. After his canonization 20 years later, a chapel was annexed to the cathedral to house his tomb. Since then, the cathedral has borne his name. As night falls over Moscow's capital, the vibrant colors of St. Basil's Cathedral shine in Red Square, an affirmation of the resilience of human faith in the face of the chaos of history.